I've never seen a possession film quite like this before. This is an electrifying, nasty little piece that I'm unsure why it took me so long to visit, as I'm a horror fanatic myself. This film does not allow you time to slow down or breathe. It is frantic and chaotic, and unfolds at a pace that honestly causes vertigo and motion sickness. Within the first shot, I knew this was going to be one hell of an adrenaline ride, and I wasn't wrong. This is one terrifying watch that burrows under your skin, and I absolutely love it. Welcome back to my channel, travelers. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. Today I would like to share with you an evil, relentless little horror called Possession that changed the way I see the possession genre forever. This is not your typical possession film, far from that. It's more in the line of a bad trip infused with body horror. They don't and probably won't be able to recreate something similar in the future. I don't recall having such an unhinged and intense experience in such a long time, and Possession reignites that hope in me, that cinema can still be an experience that is unique and out of this world, and how it can take something as simple as the idea of possession and turn it into a mind-bending, unrelenting ride. This film is all the above and better, and must be seen in order to understand how well crafted and well acted it actually is. Let's start with a brief synopsis first. A woman starts behaving erratically when she asks her husband for a divorce, but very soon we find out that something more sinister is at play, and of course we can pretty much guess what that is, as the title tells you that. What made it interesting was how the title directly tells you what the synopsis is about, yet the film kept me altering between how maybe it isn't a film about possession, maybe it's just a dysfunctional family and divorce at play, maybe it is not related to the metaphysical after all. This alternation was all due to the phenomenal acting that kept the film grounded. If you were to enter the film without much of a context and not know the title of the film, you're probably not likely to realize it is a horror film. I like that. Watching this film, Marriage Story kept popping into my head. I guess they're similar in the way that both films cover the theme of how divorce affects a family and the effects it can have on one. But here, Possession feels like if you take Marriage Story and completely flip it 180 degrees and then dip it in petroleum, light it on fire, while having a bunch of people trample and parade over it frantically. I know it is a weird analogy, but once you see it, you understand what I mean. This is what this film feels like, and it is chaos to the max. Possession is directed by Andrzej Zulawski, known for going against mainstream films. He attempts to stay as controversial as possible. Well, clearly Possession is doing just that. The film was so controversial due to its nastiness. It was banned in the UK for almost a decade and heavily edited in the US in order for it to be released. This film also breaks the rule of filmmaking multiple times, and mind you, this film was made over 40 years ago. So, how did this film come to be? Andrzej Zulawski wrote the screenplay when he was going through a divorce, and clearly that incident had a heavy toll on him. He took the anger and frustration from his divorce and combined it with the idea of possession to show us the horrors behind it, creating one of the most terrifying experiences I've had in a long time. His anger completely paid off, as this was a deep dive into his mind. It is a personal horror film, and that's what makes it so effective. I've never seen any of his other works, but now I'm going to have to attempt to hunt them down. Let's dive in and talk about why this film is a damn good demonic film, and why I'm placing it up there with my favorite horrors. Within the first frame, I immediately realized the effect and magic of the 1.66 to 1 aspect ratio, and boy does it work well with this film. The aspect ratio choice allows and delivers a more claustrophobic effect. It feels tight and cramped, and everything feels more intense when capturing the background space where everything feels open and wide, making it feel like there's no sense of protection from any angle. You feel very vulnerable, even in a big open world, as if everything is going to cave in and there's nowhere to run. It adds to the tension and hits you right in the face, and that is all achieved within the first few shots. And when paired with its haunting score, I was immediately glued to the screen, and that is how the film opens. What I really love about this film is its top-notch cinematography, its phenomenal acting, and I mean phenomenal, tight edit and terrific score choice. This film is perfect. This is one of the best horror films I've ever seen, and it is up there with my favorites like Suspiria, or even classics like Halloween. How it took me so long to finally see this film is really beyond me. Let's first start by talking about the cinematography by Bruno Nueten, cause that is what stood out to me the most. I've never quite seen a film being shot like this, at least I can't think of one off the top of my head. The camera work here perfectly captures the chaos unfolding, and it is achieved through the constant maneuvering of the camera. It never stops moving, not once. Yes, you heard me right. The cameraman is always up and running, following our characters everywhere as they navigate around the surroundings, from the wide open train stations to the cramped apartment. We're always on the go, always on the move, and there's no slowing down, even if you want to. And even when the camera does slow down, it is still handheld, so there's still a sense of shakiness to it. But that doesn't mean the pace is decelerating, as the characters are still moving within the frame. For example, when a character sits down, he is seen fidgeting or doing something that displays strong movement, like sitting on a rocking chair or just twisting and turning, or flicking the light switch on and off while speaking on the phone, or characters moving like they're in a play. You're never given a chance to sit down and rest. It is that frantic. Possession also utilizes many wide shots and extreme close-ups. There's pretty much nothing in between. When outside in the open, wide shots are used to capture the empty space in the background, as mentioned before, but it is not bland enough for it to look lackluster, but just enough empty space for you to feel uneasy and uncomfortable. Whereas when we are in enclosed spaces, every corner within the frame is utilized, always filled with something, capturing the restrictedness within the environment. Once again, you can see there's no in between. It's either wide and open, or claustrophobic. Whenever the camera captures the character's facial features, extreme close-ups are used. When combined with the 1.66 to 1 aspect ratio, Bruno Nueten is able to capture everything. The tears, the sweat, the blood, the fear. You see nothing but the actor's face. It is right in your face and you can't look away. As you can see, everything is very extreme in this film, and the cinematography by Bruno Nuotun completely delivers on its chaos and insanity. The color palette also adds to the brooding atmosphere. It helps add a sense of lucidity to every frame, yet you can feel it ready to bubble and completely overturn anytime towards a full-blown nightmare. The color palette allows the lighter areas to stand out, while the darker areas are dark enough to allow certain scenes to play tricks with your eyes. You can and you can't quite make out what you're seeing, and I guess that's the point. It's supposed to be ambiguous. Now, let's talk about the acting, because it is so damn good. Isabelle Adjani, who plays the wife, is beyond incredible. She has to display one of the broadest range of emotions. At times she is anxiety-stricken and panicky, fidgeting non-stop. Just watching her fidget, even I began to have anxiety. Then after a huge fight, she suddenly becomes calm and composed, and even rational. It is eerie how well she can switch between characters, but what makes it even more terrifying is how as the film progresses, the dial on her acting continues to be amped up until it is at 11. You think she can't go any further, but nope, the boundary continues to be pushed. She keeps adding more fuel to her acting until you start to wonder if she's even having fun, or if she's actually suffering from making this film. She displays so much rage and so much aggressiveness. It is honestly scary. There's a scene that takes place inside a train station where she has a nervous breakdown. That scene was so terrifying, it gave me goosebumps. I kid you not when I say I believe no one can replace her in this role. I really do believe even the most skilled actress probably won't be able to recreate the sheer horror of that scene. Sam Neill, who plays the husband, although great, just wasn't a match for Isabelle Adjani. However, whenever they are together and arguing, the amount of ferociousness back and forth between both characters makes you feel like you're overhearing something private that shouldn't be heard. Both actors display their arguments with such authenticity and intensity. You can feel it's going to lead to something unpleasant, and sometimes it does. As I said, this film plays with your expectations. This is not your regular horror. The side characters in this film are also great and deliver the same energy and uneasiness, like the wife's new boyfriend, who seems to move like a drunk. You can't quite seem to predict what his next move will be, as he doesn't move like a regular person. He moves as if he's like a river. You never know how he's going to react to a confrontation, adding another layer of uneasiness to the film when he is around. The editing choice for this film is another tool that helped add to the discomforting feeling. The tight edit already adds a sense of vertigo to the film, but what elevates it even more is how Andrzej Zulawski chooses to abruptly cut from one scene to the next. Usually it doesn't work well, but here, it adds to the overall direction it was going for, unsettling its viewers. A shocking scene with a tight edit would occur, and then suddenly, it will cut back to the normal day-to-day life, as if what you just saw did not occur. The suddenness is jarring and disconcerting. It leaves you no time to ponder on what just happened. The shock would usually occur in a few seconds, so viewers are left with no time to put the pieces together. Only the imagery is ingrained in their heads, while everything is back to normal. That uneasiness continues to linger in your chest. Now that's powerful. The score choice is also a perfect fit for the film, and can be seen from the very beginning. It is hypnotic, yet you know something devilish is hiding behind it, ready to lull you deep into the horrors. Under its dreamy horror tone, it also delivers a sense of solitude, which is exactly what Andrzej Zulawski was going for, as the main character feels alone and empty when his wife decides on a divorce. I think the score is perfect, and it summarizes the overall tone of the film: uneasy, unsettling, and alone. I also love how the film plays with your expectations. I'm gonna say this again, this is not your typical horror film. You think you know horror? Throw it out the window. First of all, it doesn't even follow your typical possession storyline. Why would you think Andrzej Zulawski would play by the rules? He doesn't. You think it is headed in that direction. You think nothing is going to happen, yet it does. You think something will happen, yet it doesn't. You really don't know what to expect, cause if it happens, it happens. That's what makes Possession such a fresh yet difficult watch. The rules are broken and then broken again. Now I can see why this film wasn't well received when it was first released. It's really not going to be for everyone. Possession is one of the best horror experiences I've had in a long time, and it is a great example of why I love this genre so much, and why I hold it dearly in my heart. I'm placing this somewhere in my top 5 horror films of all time, as it deserves that spot. As for now, this film is still a cult classic, but it is starting to receive more recognition. I can see a lot of people not liking this film, as it doesn't follow your typical narrative structure, and doesn't quite follow the rules of cinema. It'll be too obscure for some, but that's what makes this film unique and fresh. How many films about possession have you seen and ended up calling it disappointing, saying it is boring and nothing special, only to find yourself back watching another one and seeing the industry churn out another 10 of those products a year? Yes, possession may be an acquired taste, but I believe more people should give this film a chance, and open their horizons to the wide possibilities and spectrums of what horror can bring and deliver us. Possession is a terrifying, unsettling, fresh, and unique horror film that will forever have a special place in my heart. This film most definitely gets a 10 out of 10. Give this film a go if you're able to find a copy. You may not like it, but I guarantee one thing: you won't be forgetting this cinematic experience anytime soon. Have you seen Possession? Do you plan to see it? If you did, what did you think of it? Comment below and let me know. And as always, subscribe for your next travel ticket.